All right, guys, I am getting ready to put the roof on, and I thought I would shoot a quick video just to show you guys where I'm at before I did that, because once I do, it will make all of this structural part here a little less clear. So I gave you guys a little sneak peek of what this will look like by the thumbnail in my previous video. However, in the video itself, I had not cut that arc. But I did get, so what I've done is these were those 1/2-inch hardwood pieces of wood that run the whole span from front to back. Got those in place. When I lay the roof over, it's going to overlap this. So I traced a rough line in there and I cut the arc, or the curve, whatever you want to call it, on the side walls. I made it, I cut them a little tall because we all know you can always remove material, but you can't add it. And I did both sides. As a side note, man, I love this shape. I think this is going to be really, really nice. I think it's going to look really slick. And I don't know. I'm really happy with how this is turning out so far. But back to where we were. These are the beams down here, which you guys can see all the way back. The cross beams, these 1/2-inch hardwood pieces, sit on top. So then what I did to create a nice mounting platform for the rest of the roof material is I took 1/2-inch pieces of cedar and attached them here. There's a little bit of finishing sanding I'll do. Once I got all of that in place, then I went through and finalized the height of these sidewalls. So I took my little cordless planer here and just ever so carefully just ran it over the edge. And I would take some wood and line it up against here and make sure everything is flat. I think it's pretty obvious, but when I go to lay out the pieces of plywood across the top, I want them to sit nice and flat, have a good mounting surface. You guys could probably see there's, a few little spots where it's a little high or something. I am going to touch it up with the sander, but for the most part, I'm going to leave it the way it is. So what I will do, this is probably my favorite construction adhesive, is this PL3. There's other ones that work well, though, of course. That kind of comes out with like I don't know, I guess you could say like a peanut butter consistency. And I will put a pretty good layer on all of these sections. So I'm going to do one at a time. This is the plywood I'm going to use. And I cut it to length. So this is 72. I actually cut these at 73 just to give me a little extra wiggle room. I can trim up the rest later. And I will do one at a time. That way it doesn't get too overwhelming. And then I'll put on all of these surface areas where that plywood's going to mount, I'll put a nice solid bead of that. And then I will get up there and I will push it down gently. And then I will start on one end. And what I'm going to do, and I have a reason for it, is I'm just going to use 18 gauge brad nails. Unless some unforeseen circumstance comes up where I feel like I need to, I'm not going to use any fasteners or any like screws, I guess more specifically. And I'll just start from one end and work the plywood down, throwing in some brad nails as I go to hold it in place. And largely, I'm going to trust the adhesive. Now, my rationale for this, based on some prior experience, is if you get in there, I'm using thin plywood here. If you get in there with fasteners and start driving them down, it's going to deform, or at least it has the potential to deform the plywood in certain areas. And then that can give you a bumpy feel. But if you kind of push it down and just work it down gently, of course you do want to smash it into the adhesive and get the tightest joint you can, and then just pop a few nails. But the adhesive is strong, and I will trust that. So that's it. That's my plan. I did want to show you guys a couple of little things. I did get the door frame in. So this is hardwood. I'm sure most of you guys are aware of this, but Different species of woods have pretty significant different qualities. And all woods are roughly divided into two categories: softwoods, so cedar is a great example, pine would be a great example, and hardwoods. I don't remember what species this was. This was some hardwood that I had sitting around the garage. I think it might be maple, but I'm not sure. In speaking in general sense, I've used mostly softwood on here, the cedar, because it's light. It has some weathering resistant qualities. It's stable, all that kind of stuff. It wouldn't, and it's less expensive. It's not feasible to do the whole thing in hardwood though, because it's heavier. It doesn't have the same resistance to the elements, or at least in some cases, and it's more expensive, of course. So it's and you don't need all of that extra strength, but there are places where you do need the extra strength. So some of these beams on here give a little extra strength, but in the door frame, I use the hardwood for two purposes. One is the hinges will mount here, and though cedar has enormously good qualities, one thing it's not known for is in my experience, is it doesn't hold screws really well. So when I mount those door hinges right here, I want a nice surface that will hold screws really effectively, so it doesn't become loose and cause a problem later. And then secondarily, from a security standpoint, over here will be where the lock set goes into this wall, and instead of having a softwood that would be easy to pry apart, the lock set will actually go through a piece of hardwood, which will make it a little bit stronger. And then this right here is my little stop on here, so this is what the door will actually rest against. Of course, it will be a outward swinging door. This is a little premature, but I'll touch on it. A lot of people, because it's an outward swinging door, they'll see the hinges sitting out here, to where the actual hinge part, or where the hinge pin sits out here. They have things called security hinges, which is what I use, where that pin is locked in place. So it's not as though somebody could actually lift out the pin. As a secondary benefit, this camper will fit fully in the bed of my pickup truck, because I made it specifically to do that. So it's 77 inches long. And my particular pickup truck, when you shut the bed and you lock the truck, it also locks the tailgate. So that will be, if I'm away from the camper, that will be an extra bit of security. But it's just a quick update, guys. I will come back to you here in a couple days. And if everything goes smooth and as planned, we should have the roof on and go from there. So thanks again for all your support and watching.